Hi there. On this episode, we're going to have a wee chat about today's meeting at Bute House between the SNP and Sinn Fein. Before I start, just as normal, if you like the show, please hit the subscribe button. And if you like a particular episode, please hit the thumbs up. And if you want notifications, click the little bell and you'll get told when we put out a next podcast. So, where do we start? Let me start by just explaining some facts to you. Today, Humza Yousef, this is from the British press, held talks with Sinn Fein Stormont leader Michelle O'Neill at Bute House on Wednesday afternoon. Critics said the meeting will make many Scots feel deeply uncomfortable. Fair assessment. Ms O'Neill said it was her first in-person meeting with the SNP First Minister since he came into the post. So that doesn't mean it's her first meeting ever, it's just the first since he became the leader of the SNP, unelected. She also visited the official residence, Edinburgh, last year to speak with his predecessor, Nicola Sturgeon. The Sinn Féin Vice President said we've already got strong relationships, always have had, and I want to see that continue in the time ahead. I think it's important to meet this week, given that last week there was a British-Irish Council meeting. Unfortunately, because of the political situation in the north of Ireland, the executives will not be there. So you won't meet the British counterparts, but you'll meet a Scottish one, who's British. Right, that's a bit of logic there. Ms O'Neill, who's set to become the first nationalist First Minister of Northern Ireland, said she believes the devolved government at Stormont may return within weeks. It follows talks between the UK government and the DUP over the post-Brexit trade deal. She said, I think it's important we get back to the juncture where we have an executive up and running, where we have power sharing restored. That's something that the First Minister has an ambition he shares. The Scottish First Minister has an ambition for power sharing in Northern Ireland. I wonder why. He would like to see the power sharing restored in the north. There's no such place as the north, it's Northern Ireland. Or Ulster, but you wouldn't want to say that. I wanted to give him an update in terms of where we are in terms of the political situation at home, and hopefully in the coming weeks a decision will be made, and a positive decision by the DUP to return power sharing. I'm unsure at this moment what that's got to do with Humza, the SNP, or indeed the Scottish Government. But who am I? Despite the progress in power sharing between Sinn Féin and the DUP, critics said that the Bute House summit illustrated that the SNP leader would gladly work with anyone who supports his aim of breaking up the United Kingdom. I think that's a fair assumption, although there's more to it. Although they are now a mainstream party and Ms O'Neill even attended the coronation of King Charles in May, many people in Great Britain still associate Sinn Féin with the years when they were the political wing of the IRA. The party president is the Republic of Ireland opposition leader Mary Lou MacDonald, who succeeded the notorious Gerry Adams, who may or may not have ties to the IRA. This is the last leader of Sinn Féin. Scottish Conservative Shadow Constitution, External Affairs and Culture Secretary Donald Cameron said, this makes it abundantly clear that the First Minister, just like his predecessor, that'll be Nicola, will gladly work with anyone who supports his aim of breaking up the United Kingdom. I can't really disagree with Mr Cameron's opinion there, and nor should you. Many Scots will be deeply uncomfortable at the sight of Scotland's First Minister associating himself with Sinn Féin, and will wonder where it fits with the SNP's supposed civic nationalism. It's important to remember that almost every intervention the SNP makes is done so with the selfish goal of independence in mind. Posting on X, formerly Twitter, Mr Yousef, quite likes the thing, said, "I was delighted to welcome," and then it's got her little "and" thing, I take it that's, yeah, O'Neill, so that'll be Michelle O'Neill, SF for Sinn Fein, to Bute House. "We discussed hopes of a deal to restore power sharing and the opportunity for more cooperation between Scotland and Northern Ireland, including the tackling of Westminster's cost of living crisis and underinvestment in public services." The mind boggles. The UP, oh, where are we? I've just lost the page there, give me a wee second. Scan back down. Oh no, that's an earlier one. Now this isn't the first time that they've seen Michelle from Sinn Fein and Scottish First Minister. In fact, the day that his predecessor Nicola Sturgeon resigned, Sinn Fein hails her huge strides towards taking Scotland out of the UK. So, with that quote, it's quite clear that Sinn Fein want to have a successful SNP to break up the union, and it's quite clear that the SNP would be quite happy if Northern Ireland was to depart the United Kingdom. Both of these things in themselves make me a bit uncomfortable. But the thing that makes me even more uncomfortable, this isn't the first time, alone this week, that we've seen Mr Yousef cozying up with people with really strong connections to known terror groups. There's been plenty written and spoke about in social media about the people he's currently meeting with strong links to Hamas and such like in the Middle East. People have been asking questions about why he would be so keen to send money to Gaza, because it's historically known that quite often the money that goes into there from good intentions ends up in the hands of Hamas. And now he's more than happy to cuddle up to the party who started out in life to be the political wing of the IRA. I don't think this man, there's either two things happened here, one of two things. Either has no concept of history or how people perceive who he cozies up with, or he just doesn't care. And I find it impossible to consider it's the first one, that he just doesn't know how people would feel and why people would feel uncomfortable with the leader of the Scottish Parliament having such close relations with people in a number of terror groups. You would think anyone with a modicum of experience in PR would try and make these things not happen and be more careful about who they allowed their clients or colleagues to be seen and perceived to be very, very close with. But it just cements the notion that I have that those in power in Scotland and the SNP and those all around them, they just don't care. They actually don't give a damn about how they're perceived to anyone other than, as I spoke about in a previous podcast, how they're perceived by anyone other than their cult. And their cult don't care what they do. They can do anything, and their cult will still be out there in the streets with saltires with yes across them. And this belief that history owes them independence, and with each passing day it becomes more apparent that those of us from the unionist side of this great country have got less and less to fear of independence, because your naivety, your self-belief is at crazy limits, crazy levels. You just don't actually see what's happening outside the confines of your bubble. You surround yourself with people who believed you'd won a referendum that you didn't. You missed it by quite a bit. And that's who you're taking advice from. And it will be the death of your ambitions for independence. You are killing your own goal by your naivety, stupidity, and self-belief and righteousness, self-righteousness that you have, that you can do no wrong. Well, please, 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 Mr. Yousef, if you are so confident, call an election. I dare you. If you like this video, please press a thumbs up. If you want to see more, press subscribe and hit the little bell for notifications. And thank you again for your time.